guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Amber's World. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you found me. And if you are not new here and you're already a part of my family and you have already subscribed, well, welcome back. Today I bring you another episode of the Black Heroes and Sheroes of Today interview series. This next guest, I feel like I keep on repeating, I am so excited, but you guys, really every single person that I have had so far, I love, and they are so near and dear to my heart. And Tange Johnson is no different. I have known her literally all of my life. She's Auntie Tange to me. I'm just so grateful to be able to have this moment to really just sit down and talk with her, as well as catch up with her. I'm gonna shut my mouth and let you guys get to know her and fall in love with her as I have. Without further ado, I present to you Tange Johnson. Start by telling the people where you're from.
Okay, I was born in Inkster, Michigan, and my father is from Detroit. My mom is from Liberia, West Africa. So I was born in Inkster, lived there for a few years, traveled around while my dad was in seminary, and then moved to Liberia when I was 6. My parents were missionaries to West Africa for quite some time.
Describe what your academic life was like.
Okay, so in Liberia, that's where the bulk of it started. I went to an international school. So I had the privilege of having friends of all nationalities and being exposed to a lot at an early age. I'm really appreciative of my background, not just educationally, but just being able to see a lot of the world at such a young age. And in between going to Liberia, we would come back and forth to the States. And I went to public school for a year. I had one of the most traumatic times of my life going because I guess I had a little accent and I'm coming to the States and the kids used to call me African booty scratcher and up and chase me home from school. But so I had that experience, and then I started going to private school in Garden City, then Africa, then back to Garden City, and then finally I graduated from high school in Redford, 1994. I went there, graduated in 94, and then my parents, during that time there was a war in Liberia, and there was a ceasefire in 94. So my dad got a job as a world relief director in Liberia. So when I graduated, my 2 sisters and my parents were supposed to go overseas for 2 years. So it was about the time that I was looking for a college. I got accepted to all these colleges. And my dad said, well, I really need you to stay close to your brother. So I want you to stay here and go to William Tyndale College. That was a painful, painful thing. But I ended up going to William Tyndale College for undergrad, still shifted a lot. They were there for a little while, 2 years, they got evacuated, big ordeal. And in order to stay close to them, because they had sold their house in Detroit, they moved to Virginia and asked me to come with them. They asked me to come with them to live with them, but also to get away from my soon-to-be ex-husband I was dating. And I ended up moving to Virginia for a year, went to Liberty University for that year, went back to William Tyndale College, and finally finished.
Wow.
Then there's a whole nother story for grad school, but yeah.
And you went to grad school? Okay, where'd you go to grad school?
Central.
Okay.
Central Michigan. After I graduated from college, I worked Black family development for a year, and my brother passed away. One of my older brothers passed. And once again, my parents, I graduated, they're like, come to Virginia, I'll give you a job and a new car if you get away from your soon-to-be ex-husband. So I went back and stayed there for a year or two, but then came back to Detroit, came back to Virginia, got married, went back, to Detroit. It's just so many back and forth, and that's important to my story. But while I was married, my Shelby, he wanted to go back to school. So we went. Sam was at Central. Donna was there at the time, so we went there and did I was older, but did the traditional thing. And I found a program there that would take me because it was short notice. It was not the program I wanted to be in. And unfortunately, in my life, educationally, I did a lot of things I told you about Tyndale, going there, not really wanting to, going to the course, taking the courses in grad school that I did, the program out of necessity, because I was there and I couldn't not do anything. And I did that program. But my story is about God connecting the dots that seemed out of order, but still came together to make me who I am and who he designed me to be. So I got a master's degree in human development and family studies from Central.
Wow. And so, and we're going to get into a little bit more into, the back and forth of it all. But after you got your degrees, how did that follow you throughout your career?
Let's see. More back and forth. When I graduated, I finished my coursework from Central. And I still had to finish my thesis, but I was pregnant and I had complications. I knew that my child was at that point going to be born with some health challenges. My family once again lived in Virginia and I wanted to be closer to them. So I moved back to Virginia, had my daughter, and she lived for 5 months when I had her. And that period of time, I thought, being in the hospital, I could finish my thesis. That didn't happen. So it wasn't until after that I finished that thesis and defended it. And, my graduation, my degree was final. Well, by the time it was finalized, I had moved to Atlanta. And my desire was to work for the CDC. I figured, okay, I've arrived, I've done all I needed to do, I have the background, but I could not find a job to save my life. As a matter of fact, I couldn't find any job to save my life when I moved to Atlanta. The only job I could find after 6 months was a job at a hotel. I was a front desk agent, and I was so happy to make that $10 an hour. And that I stayed there for 6 months and got a job in corporate as an account manager with a financial services company. So it was just totally left because I had I was the person who helped people. I was the person who helped people. So I did that job and I was grateful for it. It definitely doubled, tripled my salary. And I thought I would be there temporarily. I was there for 4 years. Could not break into the field, the CDC, couldn't get there. During that time, I became really frustrated with my inability to touch people. So I started volunteering as a mentor with the mentoring program at my church so I could get my dose of touch. While I was there, about a few months in, we got a grant with the Department of Justice to facilitate mentoring services to adjudicated youth who had, committed felonies in our case. And it was a part of an intensive program to be able to provide them one-on-one mentoring. Well, loved that. 6 months in, I became the co-director of the program. And I found out that this is what I loved. So I started, working with them, getting beat up, but having great highs throughout the process. So, but I was working in financial services, ended up working another job, just kind of started advancing in my career with another job in the same field. Then I got laid off. And for quite some time, I didn't have consistent work. But during that time, I saw a job posting for a position as the director of community court for Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Got that job. I knew when I looked at the posting was mine, working with human trafficking victims, working with people who had committed crimes, who didn't deserve to be or didn't need to be in jail because of other issues like sex exploitation, like homelessness, mental health issues, etc. So I was in that position for a couple of years, got recruited to be a software, to a software company to work there, lost that job. They ran out of money. And but I kept the mentoring thing all throughout the process. Now I work for Georgia Public Defenders Council as the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Programs, along with the mentoring program, which has done a lot of things in the community for youth. And I also, I've been able to expand the work that is being done with youth and with adults who've committed crimes who actually need an alternative to sentencing. So it was about, and it's also during this process that I realized that all that I learned while doing account management, project management, has been extremely useful. I never wanted to be technical, but I became really technical, learning how to work in the tech field, et cetera, and was able to parlay that into the positions that I've been in and be able to be useful and do more things than I thought I could do. So, long answer to that question.
No, but you laid it out. So, there's no need for me to really ask like what obstacles you face, because you named a few. You named a few in talking about your journey, and it's so crazy. I feel like I really did learn something. You'd be surprised how from the outside looking in, you look at somebody and be like, their path was so smooth. Their path was so, and I'm like, yeah. And even with the things that I knew that you have went through, being, your niece, I don't know. I just forget. It's easy, once again, from the outside looking in, to think that, things just got better. But it's like anyone who has been through anything painful, anything heartbreaking, anything that is, and I don't like to say failure, but when you fall, like you're not there. You're not in that person's body. You're not there when they're experiencing all the feels. I wasn't there for the in-between moments.
Right.
So thank you for being, transparent as you could be, because you, from where you started into where you are now, being able to mentor and help people and have this job in project management and stuff, like, is there anything that you would tell yourself, like, at 25? Like, I'm 25. So what would you tell yourself at 25 years old?
At 25 years old, I had an idea of, I had those milestones in my head that I thought I needed to reach, like at a certain time. I had a sense of urgency for everything, and a sense of, I was deathly afraid of regret. So I rushed, I pushed, I tried to make things happen on my own, just try to, there's a fine line between being motivated and to get some things done, like being a person who is determined. And then there's something to be said about someone who is just anxious. I fell into the trap of, okay, you need to finish school at this time. Because people are watching, and there's expectations of you that people have that you have to meet. And you need to get married now, you need to have kids now, you need to do this now, because of the expectations that others had and that I had on myself. My advice would be, Tange, you're okay. You're enough. You're doing well. Take it easy. Because what that does, if you don't really grasp and hold on to and be in the now and stay committed to the now, what you end up making mistakes. You end up like jumping the gun on things and messing yourself up to the point that you have to go back and recover. There are things in my life that I can uh, pinpoint and say, man, Tange, if you just would have paused, if you just would have waited, some of the things that have happened, and there's been quite a lot of things that have been gut punches for me, right? Um, and God had a way, like I spoke to earlier, of making sure that everything that I went through, I've been able to use. And I mean, I'm talking about from jobs, like I said, working in tech and ended up being recruited by a software company to do some work. I'm talking about the mentoring thing, ended up that being the catalyst that propelled me to the positions I'm in. But I'm also talking about everyday life. I'm talking about loss of a child. That loss of a child helped me when I talked about being at the hotel. I had a person come in there, a lady come in there who was going through the same thing, similar thing, and she needed a room. And I was able to, because of my relationship with the director of sales, get her room at $200 less a night than she normally would have gotten the room, and walked through that process with her. She didn't look like me. She didn't expect me to be the person to help her do that. And I never told her that I had lost my child through the process. Literally, Amber, the day that they got discharged from the hotel was the day I got the job in the finance. I mean, I graduated from that position to a position that paid significantly more. There's has been done that it's been wasted. But there are times that I just was anxious, like trying to meet the demands, unrealistic demands I had on myself, or that others had on me. And I've had a lot of those growing up. The expectation was that I would be good, that I was not, and this wasn't even from my family. This is from other people. The pressure, I had a friend in high school say, don't you ever have sex before marriage. I was like, but you sleeping with, but you don't, because I'm looking at you. And I've always known to some extent people were looking at me. But the reason I can be extremely transparent now is because at one point I realized that our ups and downs, our pains, our joys, our wins, our losses, all of those things are meant to be stories that we tell to others to encourage, to motivate, to admonish. You know, those are critical things because our lives, people are watching. Like you just said, you know, at Tange, we saw you as this, and I had no idea. But the truth is, people are watching you, but they need to see, like I said, they need to see you fall, they need to see you get up, they need to see you restored, and you need to be patient with yourself. And I was not. I still struggle with that.
What is the best part about, not the best part, what is your favorite part about Black culture?
The first word that comes to mind is adaptability. And I have the benefit of being an African, you know, and an African American. So one thing I see about many of us is our ability to come into a situation that sometimes is not ideal, and to be able to make things grow within it. Slavery, literally make things grow, build things. Coming out of slavery, going through adversity, going to a new area and adapting to that and making things grow, careers, you know, families. And I see that with myself. There's a certain strength. I usually hate that word because that usually means people put stuff on you. You have to carry because you're strong. But we as a people have been through a lot of things, and we are put in positions that sometimes are not ideal. Even now in the workforce, I'm a woman in leadership, and let me tell you, that comes with a lot of stuff. I own a nonprofit now. I owned businesses before, and you have to fight. I've been in corporate. I've had to. That's where I got my voice. But being able to sit in a place, at a table, in a tough situation, and be able to adapt to your new surroundings, and being able to flourish in that space. And that always gets me. Some days I've seen a lot, working in the criminal justice field, and some things that are disheartening because of the impact that they've had on my community or my people. But sometimes I get mad at my people, to be honest. But there are other times where I look and I'm just like, I love my people because they're able to come in and change the atmosphere, internally and externally, even when the situation is not ideal. So that's my story.
I love it. I love it. Wow, this has been wonderful. Before we close, though, we have got to do the rapid fire round.
Okay.
So,
I'm nervous.
The pandemic is over. We can go back outside now. We can travel.
We can play. Okay.
Yeah. So, what continent are you going to explore first? Go back to Africa, or would you rather go to Asia?
Are those my two options?
Those are your two options.
Okay. Africa, then. I'd like to go to South Africa. I've never been.
Okay. Would you rather have a spa day or a shopping spree?
Gosh. Somebody else is paying for the shopping. Yes. I need clarification. Right now I need a spa day. I'm lying. For right now, we'll do shopping if somebody else.
If it's on someone else's dime, you know what?
Yes,
let me
now. Yes, let's do that.
Your favorite lip color? Are you true? Are you true to that red, or would you choose a purple lip?
I'll do like whatever I find, even if it's inexpensive. But I usually stick to matte red. That's kind of like my thing. I would wear a purple. Like I wear pinks, I wear purples, all the things I thought I could. Because for years I just had dark lipstick, darker shades. But I'm trying to get a little brighter now.
Thank you for the honor and the privilege of having a moment of your time this early in the morning. Thank you for getting cute from the head to the waist, because here, just right here. Right. I get it. I appreciate you. This has been a tea session. It's the conversation. It's been therapy. It's just my soul and my spirit is just jumping for joy right now.
Amber, you mean the world to me. I'm so proud of you. I love you dearly.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Black Heroes and Sheroes of Today interview. I really hope that you guys took something from this. I know I did. Make sure that you comment below and let us know how you felt about this episode. And do stay tuned for the next one. With that said, bye.